All right, today I got a project. My plow lights are literally starting to fall off. I've got it strapped on with, stainless steel pipe straps and zip ties. But as you can see, the part that connects to the light into the frame is all rusted and gone away. And they don't sell this separately. They sell one half of it, but the part where the bolts are, they come out the bottom, and it is riveted or something to the lights. You got to buy the whole light assembly, which is like $600. There's nothing wrong with the lights. They seem to work fine. Like I say, this is an older plow. The plow I bought in '09. I'm still using it. I moved it to this truck here, and I just don't see spending that money for what I use the plow for. So I'm going to see if I can make some brackets to go on there. I'm actually thinking of using composite just to keep, so I can cut them at a taper to put them on there. So we'll see. All right, we'll check back later. All right, here's a couple days later. I'm going to do an update on my Fisher plow light repair I'm going to do here. I had to completely disassemble it and take the front of it out because the rivets that were coming through this bracket here before, you couldn't get them out without taking the thing apart, and it had like an RTV, black sealant around the edge. So, but the bottom brackets were completely destroyed, just from rust and corrosion over the years. So now that I took this apart, I'm going to take this and I'm going to switch this to the bottom. I made a new plate. Doesn't have this recess in it, but I just made a plate out of aluminum that I had sitting around. So this one will go here. This one will go on the bottom. And then what I did is I took just some composite, AZAC composite decking that I had left over from a deck project. And I made new curved brackets. So I'm going to have to put some grooves in this because I need a bolt to come through to go through into the plow frame. And here's the old bolts I had to cut off. They were rounded on the inside, so I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do with that yet. And then you needed the square thing. So I bought some stainless steel carriage bolts. And I might have to curve the edge of this a little bit. And then that's going to, and like I say, I got to put some square channel or rectangle channels in here. And then this is going to sit on this so you can adjust it up or down for your headlight, So, sorry, I'm not good at recording, but so there's that. Like I say, these are the old bolts. So I'm going to have to obviously make some modifications because the head's different, So, but I'm hoping this is going to work. Like I say, this is an old plow, and I can still get the lights, but I just don't know if it's worth it. It's not worth, if you're talking about the amount of time I'm spending to do it, it's not worth it cost-effective wise versus just buying it. But sometimes I just like to see if I can modify something and make it work, just out of stuff I have mostly sitting around. So we'll see here. I'll check back. Like I say, I did wire brush some of the rust off of this a little bit, and I soaked it, this bracket, and there's another bracket here too. It goes on the inside. I don't know what I did with it, but either way, I'm going to throw a coat of paint on it before I'm done. But I did put it in some Evapco rust. It did okay. I don't know if that stuff expires because the stuff I had was old, but it looks a lot better than it did. Like I say, I'm going to throw a little bit of paint on it and then go from there. Well, we'll check back later. We'll see, see what's going on here a little bit later, see how it's working out. Thanks. Here's that other bracket that goes on the back. This, and then this gets a screw through it into the back of this housing. Right there's where that goes and helps hold it in. So this hooks in here, goes down, and holds that. So I'll probably slap. You can see that's still rusted, and that was in that evapor rust. But I'll just throw a little bit of paint on it, or some fluid film, or something of that nature, and we'll see later. All right. So here's the update. You can see the carriage bolts here have that rectangle channel, and then it'll fit up in there so it can tighten and then move back and forth, so it can be adjusted to light. So like I said, and then here's so you can see then that you can adjust this back or forth. So, and then also I tapered the top of the bolt here so it would, fit in there nicer. And that way so here's I think that's the wrong way right now, but there's a flat side here. There we go. All right, so there you go. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to slap some paint on these. Like I said, this, I don't know if this definitely isn't a permanent fix, but I just wanted to see if I could modify this and make it work for now for the rest of the winter. Maybe order the actual new lights, but hopefully this works. So I'm going to both slap a little bit of paint on this, and then hopefully, be dry by tomorrow and reassemble and put it back on the plow, because it is currently snowing and I'm going to need to go plow. So, all right. Okay, it's a few days later. I painted my parts. They're pretty much dry now. I just wanted to show you that I just cleaned my surfaces, prepped them, so when the silicone goes on to put the cover back in. Also wanted to show you that, this is just aluminum scrap that I had. This was part of the piece that was there. And then since I don't have rivets big enough to go through all the rubber gasket and through the plates, I'm just going to use these brass screws that I have. And hopefully they're not too thick to put on, there was like rivets holding it together. So I just wanted to show a quick couple things. These couple items, both these items I used the aluminum. You can cut with just carbide blades. So I used the same blade for cutting both the composite and the aluminum. I just used my chop saw over there, and then I just used my sander here to curve everything, stuff like that. To put my groove in this, I used my little router table that I cut into the side of my table saw. So, all right, I'm going to get ready to assemble this. The only other thing I wanted to mention is that I was shocked that when I took this apart, because this plow is old, none of the tabs broke off on this when I go to snap this back together. So that is a bonus, I think. I know the silicone would probably hold it together. And like I say, I'm just doing this to see if I could, Frankenstein it together. I'm probably going to end up eventually ordering new lights for it, but I just wanted to, experiment. So we'll see. I'll show you when I get it together. All right. Okay, I assembled the bottom portion so you can see the plate in there, and that so it'll swivel on it. I used those brass screws. I did put a little bit of Loctite on it, and then I just ground down the screw a little bit so it doesn't interfere with the block. So sorry about this recording. I'm just using my cell phone. So that way, when it's mounted, you can see that it can swivel on an angle if I want, whichever direction I need it to be to align my lights. So now the only thing I got to do yet is, finish putting it together, put some silicone around this here, snap the light housing back in, and finish putting together and mount it back on the truck. So I'll be back in a little bit. All right, well, it's assembled. Here's that plate that went on. It gets screwed in here, and it hooks into the plastic, and then your bulb goes back in. So there. So here's the front. Whoop, if I can get back far enough. So I'm going to go mount it on the truck, and then I'll show you the end result. Okay, here we are. It's mounted. Lights are working. show you, see where the angles are, so that way it can be pivoted. Fastened it in, you know, reattached everything, put zip tie on here, the plate. So all I gotta do now is put the cover on. So there's the update. Like I say, there's the thing here. I'll show you the other one, because it's pretty bad shape too. You can see it's really rusted and it's getting in bad shape. So I'm probably gonna just order new lights, but I just wanted to see what I could do with it. So there's what I did. So if you need to, you can do it. They don't sell the brackets, which I think's silly. They do sell just the bottom plate, but not like where you can refasten it to the light. There's nothing wrong with the lights, but they don't sell the brackets and they corrode. So they should make them out of something like stainless or something that they just don't corrode. You can just see how bad that is. Now granted, it is an old plow. I bought this in 09, the Plow. I did switch it from one truck to another. So we'll see. All right, thank you.